Hello, this is Malika El-Haj Hassan reporting for the American University of Beirut's Organic Chemistry Club's YouTube channel. Today, February 7th, 2017, Professor M.G. Finn, the chair of the Schools of Chemistry and Biochemistry at the Georgia Institute of Technology, gave a public lecture about research as a career, publishing, and other matters. The following is an interview conducted with Professor Finn, Professor Haddadin of the American University of Beirut, and several students in the audience. Hello, Professor Finn. First off, I would like to welcome you to our campus and thank you for your words today. Have you been to Lebanon before? Is this the first time you visit the region?
Yeah, this is my first visit. It won't be my last.
So what are your impressions of it so far?
Oh my, Beirut is a wonderful city. I've had terrific food and wonderful interactions with people. I had the chance to visit Baalbek this weekend, which was unbelievable, just amazing. So I've had just a terrific time. Great city, so I'll be back.
All right, that's great to hear. I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about sharing your personal experience of choosing a career with students and basically about sharing your story with us here today?
Well, the most fun that I have in the job is to talk with students and help them. And so if I can be helpful in this context, in this way, it's always fun to do that. And the students ask great questions, and I can feel like I'm making maybe a little bit of a difference. So it's enjoyable for me, very much so.
So why have you personally chosen research as a career? What initially attracted you to the field of chemistry and biochemistry?
I think if you ask most chemists that question, you will get an answer from most of them, or if you ask many chemists, they'll say a high school chemistry teacher was important for that. And in my case, that's exactly right. My high school chemistry teacher gave me the keys to the laboratory, and he probably shouldn't have, and allowed me to play, and I was hooked from that point on. I never wanted to do any other kind of science.
All right, so do you have any advice for students who are aspiring researchers?
Sure. It's hard to distill that advice in a short soundbite, but as I spoke to the students here today, one of the more important things is to show your enthusiasm. It's not a bad thing to be seen as being passionate and enthusiastic about what you want to do, to have an idea of what your career goals might be. So make sure you can navigate that properly, to do good work, read the literature, but you know, if you're enjoying yourself, you'll do all of that. So having enthusiasm and showing it is important.
All right, so my last question is, particularly do you have any students who are interested in going to research in the United States, particularly at Georgia Tech?
Advice for those students? So obviously apply. It helps if you have a particular idea of what kind of science you want to do and can relate it to people at Georgia Tech. In an application, it's nice if you say, this is the kind of areas I'm interested in, and here are some of the faculty who are active in those areas. Don't apply to Georgia Tech or any place if there's only one research lab that you're interested in. You should be interested in at least 3 is my rule, but certainly you want to make sure that the environment is interesting to you in a general sense, as well as having a particular research lab or 3 that you might be interested in working with. And again, be enthusiastic. It's difficult. We get lots of applications, and we certainly can't take all of the highly qualified people who apply. So don't be discouraged, and you should apply to multiple places as well. All
right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Professor Finn, it was great to hear you talk. Thank you for this.
Good to meet you.
Hello, Professor Haddadin. Thank you for joining us today. I wanted to ask you about your initial thoughts on the talks that have been given and today in particular.
Well, first, I would thank Professor Finn for giving a great lecture yesterday and the other one today for students about their career. He calls it enthusiastic about their job. I call it's like a hobby. So if you like to practice your hobby, go into that field.
Now, we all know that you've had a very long and very successful career in research yourself. What advice would you give to students who want to pursue this?
You mean students that work for me?
Students who are interested in going into research as a field.
Most of my students went for their PhD in the United States of America, and they have done wonderful work, and they have succeeded in life. Some of them came back, some of them stayed in the United States of America.
Do you have any personal stories or advice to students who were attended here today or will be attending multiple talks like these in the future as well?
I tell them they are lucky to be at the American University of Beirut, and they are lucky to be in Lebanon, land of freedom. Indeed, this university could not have been elsewhere except in Lebanon. So they are lucky twice for living in Lebanon, and second for coming to the American University of Beirut and hearing these wonderful international scientists. This is remarkable. And I must say that I owe this to Professor Qafarani, who has done so much with his students, like your good self.
Indeed, Dr. Qafarani has done some amazing work, and I want to thank you for coming and attending today, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of you in the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, I just wanted to ask you, how did you find the seminar? In your opinion, what was the most interesting part?
Hello, this seminar was very interesting. I loved how Dr. M.G. Finn talked about his personal experience. I loved how he talked that failure isn't the end of the world. You can discover great things by failing and failing again, and that's it.
I also wanted to ask, do you feel that this helped you learn more about the field and you might have a better idea of what to expect if you were to pursue research as a career?
Personally, my dream job is to be a researcher neuroscientist. That's why I came to this seminar, and yes, he encouraged me more to love this field and to work for it.
Great. Thank you for your answers. Thank you for joining us today. I have a couple of questions for you. First off, how did you guys find the seminar? In your opinion, what was the most interesting parts?
Actually, I've never considered research. Like I usually, you know, especially as a student, sometimes you think about research as just research for your course or anything, but not research on the side to actually help you, like, to be better in like a field, or you know, to like fuel your passion for whatever you're learning for. So actually, it's got me really curious as to go looking for research ventures and everything.
Exactly what Samar said. Basically, I've never considered research as a career, and now that I've seen Professor M.G. Finn talking about his career and how passionate he is about his work, I am really going to think about it.
All right. Do you feel that this helped you get a better sense of what it would be to pursue research as a career?
Yeah, because Professor M.G. Finn, he really discussed like some hardships and like some like pros and cons of actually doing research. So you have to be able to devote the time and, you know, like what you'll be doing around what, you know, you actually want to do in life, because some people do research on the side, and, you know, actually some people, their life is research. So you actually never know how to allocate your time, and this could actually help you organize yourself, honestly.
And I also want to pinpoint that he clarified a lot of things, mainly about the peer reviewing process and many other processes that occur during the research process.
Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for answering these questions.